Hello again. Now it's time to start talking about a thesis statement and topic sentences for our papers. Thesis statement is the absolute most important statement of the entire paper. It states what your paper is going to prove. The thesis for literature needs to be argumentative, which means that it needs to be debatable in nature. So for instance, I'm not going to just simply say, Scout is mature. Instead, I need to think about what causes her to mature. What is it that makes this more argumentative? So I could say, Scout matures due to the controversy in Maycomb. This is now argumentative. So let's go through a few things about thesis statements. First of all, your thesis statement should not be a well-duh statement, such as, Scout is mature. I don't want you pointing out the obvious. We already know the obvious. I want to see your ability to go deeper. Think about the 3 whys. Every single sentence in your paper is going to somehow tie back to this thesis statement. If as you're writing your paper, you're having difficulty tying all your points back to your thesis statement, one of 2 things needs to happen. Either you need to change your points, or you need to come up with a new thesis. There is nothing wrong with tweaking your thesis statement as you are writing. Writing is not set in stone until you have published it. At that point, there's no going back. Publishing in your case is handing it in to the teacher. But until that happens, you can change your topic, you can change your thesis statement, you can change your main points, whatever needs to be changed to write the best possible paper. All right. Also, your thesis statement needs to be focused and to the point. If you try to cover too much information, your paper is going to end up being difficult to follow, it's going to be confusing, and it's going to turn into a book. Instead, we need to stay focused. So you don't want to just talk about maturity in To Kill a Mockingbird. That's a huge topic. Instead, hone in on one particular example of maturity in To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, so some of you might be wondering, how the heck can I write a thesis statement? And you might be kind of looking like this look. Well, here's a few steps. First, pre-write your topic. Go back to your webs. See what is the main idea that you want to write about and how are you going to support it. Then you need to ask yourself the following. What's your argument? Why do you believe this? And how will you prove it? Something to keep in mind, a thesis statement is not a I believe statement. Okay, avoid saying something like, I believe Scout matures due to the controversy in Maycomb, or I think, or in my opinion. The reason you want to avoid this is because, quite honestly, it weakens your argument. Now it's just become an opinion as opposed to a statement. You need to make it a statement. All right, step number 4 to writing a thesis statement is blending the answers to the questions of step 3 to create your thesis. Okay, and again, I have a few tips. Nowhere in your thesis should you include the following words: I, you, prove, show, believe, or opinion. Again, it's time to start accelerating your writing. We're not in 2nd grade doing the I believe statements anymore. Now we are actually making arguments and proving them as if they are fact. Okay, so let's try writing a thesis statement together. Our prompt is, courage is a major motif in To Kill a Mockingbird. Write an essay analyzing a character who is courageous throughout the novel. Okay, so for my pre-writing, I'm going to say courage in the center here. I've got Jem, Scout, Atticus, and Boo. All right, let's go with the most obvious of Atticus standing up for what he believes even though it's against the norm. Okay, so going against the norm. To stand up for what he believes. Okay, so this is our main point. Well, let's turn this into a thesis statement. Okay, so Atticus in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird exhibits courage by standing up for what he believes. Now, everything is going to tie back to this. Everything in my paper is going to be examples of how Atticus standing up for what he believes is courage. All right, some tips. First, make your thesis authoritative. Basically, make it sound professional. Don't use those I think statements or the I believe statements. Also, your thesis should not be a well does statement. I know I've already mentioned that. So here's an example of a non-argumentative thesis. In Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, courage is seen in the novel. Duh, okay? But now we can make it argumentative by saying, in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, Scout displays a courageous attitude as she journeys through adolescence towards adulthood. So now this paper is going to be examining Scout's courage throughout the novel as she is becoming more of an adult. Secondly, narrow your thesis. Again, don't make it too broad. Make sure you're using appropriate details, but you're not being vague. So characters in To Kill a Mockingbird are courageous. That's huge. Now we have to talk about Miss Dubois. Now we have to talk about Rue Radley, Tom Robinson, Walter Cunningham. It goes on and on. And again, exactly the same thesis statement as I had here. It just hones in on it. Unify your thesis. Discuss just one topic, not a whole array of topics. For example, Scout and Jem in To Kill a Mockingbird are courageous, but Bob Ewell is a coward. It's too many topics. Now we've got courage and cowardice, and we don't want to focus on both of those things. We want to just stick to the courage. And last but not least, specify your thesis. Sharpen your theme's point. Tell the reader exactly what you intend to prove. For instance, you don't want to say characters in To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee are courageous. Well, what are you saying about this courage? Why are they courageous? What causes them to be courageous? That's what we really want to focus in on. And here we have that. Scout displays a courageous attitude as she journeys through adolescence and adulthood. And it's this maturation that is causing her to actually be courageous. All right, so let's take a look at a few thesis statements and let's rate them. Okay, how do you think these are rating on a scale of 1, 2, or 3? 3 being awesome, 1 being, yeah, not so much. All right, the first one, in To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, Atticus is the most meaningful character because he is a strong fighter against racism and one of the only people against it. Go ahead and rate this and bring it into class tomorrow. In fact, I would like you to read through the rest of these, rate them a 1, 2, or 3, bring them into class, and we will discuss them together, see how you guys are doing in terms of judging these. Something else I want you to keep in mind as you're rating them. You need to be able to explain why. If you think it's a 1, why is it weak? If you think it's a 3, why is it strong? And if it's a 2, where did it go wrong? Why isn't it mastering the skill? All right. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.